She goes on vacation, she lays out, she has a nice tan, so that's what we're trying to emulate today. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Noelle, aka MakeupEsquire, and today I'm going to be showing you how I achieved this mob wife makeup look. It's grungy, smoky, sultry, unrefined, slept in. It's super easy to achieve and honestly pretty wearable. So if you want to see how I achieved this look, please keep watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see next. So I've already primed and moisturized my face. I filled in my eyebrows using this Anastasia medium brown eyebrow powder, and I used the medium brown eyebrow pen as well. Since we're gonna do a pretty dramatic eye look, I'm gonna start out with my eyes today. I'm gonna go in first with this Chanel cream eyeshadow. This is in the shade 840 Patine Bronze. And I'm just going to use that as a base and put it all over my eyelid. I'm gonna go in with this Danessa Myricks. It's the Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette. It has some nice neutral shades to work with. And I figured this palette would be perfect because it'll give us this grungy look. So I'm gonna first take the Sonia GT4 shade right here. It's the shade Chiseled. I'm gonna go into this big creamy shade. And I'm taking that and using it to blend out that cream eyeshadow that we put there prior, and using windshield wiper circular motions and really blending that out. I am taking this color in the crease and using it as a transition shade. I'm really going outward towards the temple area with this color because I want this to be a nice smoky blown out eyeshadow look. Now I'm going in with this Laura Geller black eyeliner, and I'm gonna go into the waterline, the top waterline, and just smoke it out and line it just so you don't see a gap between the two, if you could see a difference. And today I'm using Lashify Fluffy Eyelashes for a more dramatic eyelash look. Taking that same eyeliner and lining my top lash line really close to my eyelashes. I'm not being very precise with it because I'm going to be smoking it out. This is just a little definer brush. I'm taking the shade Tourmaline now, black shade right here, and I'm gonna use it to further smoke out that eyeliner and lash line. I'm gonna drag it out into a smoky wing. This is just going to kind of give us a map as to where I'm going to smoke out the outer corner with eyeshadow next. Going in with the Sonia GT2, and I'm going to go into the shade Bark, and I'm going to use the powder side this time. And I'm going into the outer corner and just smoking it out, just deepening up that outer V. Going back and forth and really blending that out. I'm going back in with that black shade, and I'm just further blending out that line to make it nice and smoky. Going back in with my fluffier brush to make sure it's nice and blended out. Make sure you get the inner corner as well. I'm making sure also that that eyeliner that we used earlier is set in place by putting a little bit of that black powder eyeshadow over it. After wiping my brush, I'm just going to go in with this cream shade right here. I'm going to use the eyeshadow side, and I'm going to hit the top of my brow bone. Now I'm going to go to my base, and for foundation today I'm going to use this YSL All Hours foundation. This is in the shade MN9. I'm going to take a little bit on my palm. And I'm just gonna mix it in with a little bit of this Victoria Beckham primer. I'm gonna mix in the two shades with my fingers and just apply it on the skin. I like to mix in my foundations with Victoria Beckham primer, especially when it's a really high coverage foundation. I'm just going in with my Sonia G Jumbo base and blending that all out. Since that YSL foundation is pretty matte, mixing it in with the Victoria Beckham primer just helps it apply a little bit less matte and helps it spread out more evenly on the face. It also adds some moisture to the skin. It's a good tip if you have drier skin. You can always mix in your foundation with a moisturizing primer if your foundation is too matte. Right now my skin is more on the combination side. I like to use a concealer brush to get into the smaller areas, especially when I've already done my brows before my foundation. I brought out my Charlotte Tilbury concealer. I have two shades. One is in the shade Medium 7 and 9 Tan. This one's Medium 7. And this one's 9 Tan. Going in with shade 7 I'm putting a little bit right underneath my eyes. On the outer corners, brighten up that wing and further define the eye look. Tiny bit on my nose, a little bit on my chin, on the outer corner of my mouth, a little bit on the forehead. I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of shade 9, just in the areas where I feel like I might need a little bit more coverage, mostly in the T-zone. I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of this Milk Hydro Grip setting spray, and I'm gonna use my damp beauty blender. I just find that when my concealer is on the drier side or my skin is on the drier side, using some setting spray before going in and blending it out really helps make the product more blendable. But the downside to the beauty blender is that it's not super precise. So I'll go back in with the brush and get really close up against those areas, like next to my eyebrows and up against my lash line. Going in with my House Labs concealer brush to be more precise. If I feel the need to be even more precise, I'll go in with an even smaller brush, like this Tensado brush that I'm obsessed with. And I'm just using this to clean up that eyeshadow underneath the lower lash line. This also helps to define that wing and fix any errors, if any of the eyeshadow left any fallout. For powder, I'm going in with my Chanel loose powder. This is in the shade 20. I'm gonna pour a little bit into this little IKEA bowl. Just using small amounts at a time and adding as needed. I'm going in with my Beauty Blender Puff, dipping that into the powder bowl. I recommend that you take a mirror and look up into it when you do this step, just to make sure that there's no creasing that you're gonna set into place. This is a really beautiful setting powder. It makes the face kind of look airbrushed. It eliminates pores, really special. Highly recommend it. It's honestly one of the best setting powders I've ever used, if not the best setting powder I've ever used. Chanel complexion products in general are some of my all-time favorites. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of cream contour. I'm using the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. This one's in the shade Truffle. I'm taking a little bit along the jawline and just underneath those cheekbones. I'm not gonna really take much into the temple area just because I think the eyeshadow is already helping out in this area. I'm gonna leave my forehead without cream contour just because I don't think I need it, and I'm gonna go in with a powder bronzer afterwards. Going in and using my same foundation brush to blend it out. So I just feel like the mob wife look she's snatched for sure. See how easily that cream contour blends out? It's a really good cream contour stick. Another product I highly recommend. Now I'm gonna go in with my Victoria Beckham powder bronzer. This is in the shade 03, Warm Sand. Using my Bisciotto brush, you can use any big fluffy brush you have. I usually just mix the two together. Make sure that there is an even amount on your brush. You can use your hand just like this. And I'm gonna stretch out my skin. It just makes the application more even and seamless. The mob wife has surely been in the sun. She goes on vacation. She lays out. She has a nice tan. So that's what we're trying to emulate today. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Smashbox contour powder going into this cooler shade right here. I like this for my nose contour because it's nice and cool, toned, and it's not too intense. I'm just going along the sides of my nose to give it a little bit more definition. Blending that nose contour up into the eyebrows and into that eyeshadow. This kind of helps elongate the eye look. I'm gonna keep it pretty neutral with a blush today. I brought out this Sisley blush. I'll leave the name up on screen. It looks like this. It's a nice bronzy neutral shade. I thought it would be perfect for this eye look. Since this is a pretty much all matte look, I'm gonna skip the cream blush today. Since the eyes are pretty intense and they are the star of the show, I'm not gonna go overboard with the blush. This one's a really beautiful one. For powder highlight, I brought out good old Soft and Gentle by MAC. This is an OG. Going in with my Yoshiki Kolinsky brush, and it's a pretty intense highlighter, so I'm barely tapping it. Hitting the top of the cheekbones, because the mob wife surely has some high cheekbones, right? I'm going to use a smaller brush to touch the top of the brow bone. Now I'm gonna go back into the Groundworks palette and I'm going to finish off the bottom lash line. I'm gonna smoke it out and take that black shade and really tight line along that bottom lash line. I'm gonna take my eyeliner again and go into the waterline and line it. I'm going all the way in across the entire lash line since we're going for a more grungy look. Going back in with my small smudger brush and smudging it all out. I'm gonna go back in with my T1 into the bark shade that we used in the outer V and crease and further smudging out the bottom lash line. This will just give it a more grungy, smoky, kind of slept in, smoky shadow look. Now for mascara, I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. This is a more voluminous mascara as opposed to a more spidery effect and hitting the lower lashes pretty generously. Since the top lashes are more dramatic today, I do feel like it'll give it a more balanced look to be generous with the mascara on the lower eyelashes. Now for finishing powder today, I'm going to go in with this Chantecaille Lotus Perfect Blur Glow Powder. Going in with my flat Kolinsky brush and doing one light even layer all over the face. Oh, because I don't want the wing to be too perfect, I'm just gonna go ahead and further smoke it out just so it's not so sharp. Now you can totally leave the eyes like this. It's a smoky matte eyeshadow look, but just because I want to add a little bit of something, I'm gonna go in with this Chanel single eyeshadow. This one's in 14 Talpa. And I'm just going to use the same brush that I used for the cream shadow. And I'm going to just put a little bit in the middle, just to give it a little bit of something extra. This is a really pretty taupey eyeshadow. It's perfect for a one and done eyeshadow shade. Going in one last time with my blender brush to make sure everything is nice and blended out. I'm going to go in with my Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel in the shade Espresso. I'm just topping off the eyebrows, giving them a little bit more definition and volume. Getting rid of any powder residue or excess makeup that was left in there. For the lips today, I brought out MAC's lip liner in Cork. I'm just overlining my Cupid's bow and following the vermilion border everywhere else. I'm just going to blend it out with this lip brush. This helps the lip liner really get into those little wrinkles and lines and really helps it stay put. I like to shade in the outer corners of my lips to give it a more plumpy appearance in the middle. And for lipstick, Dior Addict in the shade Beige, number 418. It's a nice neutral shade. This formula is really comfortable and it's long lasting. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that Smashbox powder contour shade to give a little bit more of a shadow up on the Cupid's bow. This gives my lips more of a pouty look. It also helps the lip liner stay put just a tad bit down below. Since I don't have lip filler on my lips, sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. As the final step, I'm just going in with this Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder in the shade Light. And I'm just gonna hit the T-zone area, just where I'm starting to get a little bit shiny, just to make sure that the T-zone area stays nice and matte. That's the look, y'all. And that's it. Mob Wife makeup. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see next.